Hi there, this is Witch, but for you it's Daisy. So today we're gonna have a little bit of experimenting. It's gonna be experimenting for you, not for me, with pomegranates. I'm gonna make pomegranate honey and pomegranate bread. So we're gonna start with the bread. And we're gonna use the recipe I presented in my first video about bread making, the one about rosemary bread. But we're gonna start by opening a pomegranate. Okay, so to cut our pomegranate, we're gonna need a knife and 2 bowls. And while I present to you how to properly cut your pomegranate, or how to cut it with the least damage, I'm gonna present to you its magical associations and its myth in the Grecian mythology, because that's what I know. So yeah, let's get started. So you need 2 bowls, because you need 1 bowl for the peel and the membranes and 1 bowl for the seeds. You're gonna cut it in half. Don't mind the look of my pomegranate, it's a bit old. It's mostly just grains or seeds. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you can hear that in the back. It's the cat just playing with paper. Okay, so you just cut it in half like that, like you would cut an orange, making sure not to cut yourself. If it's hard, you can place it in the bowl and cut it in there. There. Okay. So we now have 2 halves. We're gonna take one that we set above the other bowl, and we're gonna cut it, here in the membrane, and just until the center. You see? And then on the other side, trying not to cut myself. And we do that like, I don't know, a few times. Because all we want to do here really is just make slight spots. I don't know how you call that. But you just want to be able to crack the pomegranate open, which I'll show you in a second. I've made my slits here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it like that and just push with my thumbs so it's, cracks. And that is gonna make it a lot easier to take the seeds out. Can you even hear me through that? I don't know, we'll see. And then you just pull the seeds. You take out the membrane, put it in the other bowl. You're just gonna gently poke the seeds so they fall, You don't have much to do. There. Okay. So, you can even, separate it so it's easier to work with. I've seen a lot of people open it with spoons and stuff. Or just tapping on it. It never worked for me. The first few times I opened pomegranates, I used a spoon, to scoop out the seeds. But really this method is usually just cleaner, because the spoon will poke too hard and make the seeds kinda explode. Make sure you don't wear clothes that can be stained, because it stains. It stains a lot. Or wear an apron. So magical associations of pomegranates. Well, love, passion both in romance and hotter moments. spicy, you know. Prosperity and abundance. You know, for a very obvious reason, the pomegranate is a fruit that is full of seeds and of just full, you know, seeds and water. So it's prosperity, abundance. In that way, I also see it as a fruit of fertility. And I find that a lot of things associated with prosperity and abundance are also associated with fertility. Not all, but a lot. And obviously, pomegranates are associated with the Greek goddess Persephone. Who is she? Well, she's my matron, the goddess I work with the most. She is the daughter of Demeter and Zeus. In the mortal realm, she's known as Kore, which means young girl. And she's also the wife of Hades, the king of the underworld. Now, you might be a bit confused as to why she's associated with pomegranates, why a goddess of spring will marry, you know, the king of death. Well, to make it simple and not controversial, Persephone and Hades fell in love. She went to the underworld with him without letting her mother know, because she wouldn't have agreed anyways. But so she went to the underworld, and her mom wanted her back. So Hades and Zeus agreed that she would go back to the mortal realm with her mother, to the condition that she hadn't eaten food of the underworld. But Persephone had eaten seeds of a pomegranate being the fruits of the underworld. So she had to stay with Hades, and to appease Demeter, Zeus decided that Persephone would stay with Hades half of the year and then would go back with her mother to assist her in her duties during the other half. This explains the seasons for Grecians, as the month that Persephone spends in the underworld. In the mortal realm, nature kind of dies. You know, it's winter and autumn. Nothing flourishes anymore. It's all, you know, dead and cold. And in the month that she spends with her mother, it's spring, because she's a goddess of spring, so she brings it back. And everything flourishes, filled with grains and food. And that's summer. Now, the reason that pomegranates are associated with love and passion is because, well, Persephone ate a pomegranate to stay with Hades. That's the symbolization of her love for him. Kinda, or at least her engagement. There you go. So now, once you've taken all the seeds out, you're gonna quickly go through through your bowl to get rid of membranes. They're edible, but you probably don't wanna eat them, simply for kinda aesthetic and taste reasons or texture reasons. So with the remnants, the peels, you can remove the membrane and clean them and dry them. And then you can use them in a lot of ways, like tea for example. I'm not gonna do it this time because I already have a lot in my cabinet. So I just put it aside until I go for it. And we're gonna quickly clean our table because there's pomegranate juice everywhere. Okay, now we can start making the bread. For that, we're gonna need the same ingredients as in the first one, which is 400 grams of wheat. No, not wheat, flour. 400 grams of flour. I'm gonna let that here because we're gonna need it. A pinch of salt. You don't want a lot of it, you just want a bit to balance out everything and make sure it rises. And a bag or a sachet of yeast. Okay. It just fell right up in the bin, or right down in the bin. Again, make sure you didn't see that. Again, make sure the yeast you use is. Make sure you follow the instructions of the yeast you use. That's it. Okay. So, with your mixing spoon or your hands, you're gonna quickly mix the dry ingredients together. Make sure they're homogeneously mixed and incorporated. And we're gonna start by adding just a little bit of water. We don't want too much because the seeds will give a lot of water, but just enough to get it started. So the way I use pomegranates in my craft is mostly to honor Persephone, since I work with her. Okay. You know, it's a way to bond with her. I use them as offerings. And when I make pomegranate bread, it's actually an offering for her. And the way I use that offering is that I eat it as if I was eating with her, you know, like kind of having a picnic with your deity. Okay. Now we're gonna add the seeds. Add as much as you want. I'm just gonna add all the seeds from my pomegranates because I love them and I want them in there. So at first you won't obviously see all the moisture coming from the seeds, but you want to make sure to work very slowly with your water so that you don't overwater it, which is what I did the first time, and I ended up making a 1 kilogram bread because I had too much moisture. But those ones are pretty old and there's not much juice left, so that should be fine. Okay. So what was I saying? Yeah. Okay. Why do I work with Persephone? Well, that is a good question. I believe she's been around me for a long time, more than I could actually comprehend. Not for for forever. She hasn't been there since the beginning. But you know, she's been there. And I actually relate to her a lot. To her duality. You know, being the goddess of spring and then an incredible queen of the underworld, ruling alongside Hades. So, yeah. Until recently, I didn't really work with her. I just worshipped her. Okay, so how do you work with the deity? There are a lot of ways to do it, and there are a lot of better resources out there than me. But really, it's up to you. And the relationship you will have with your deity will change with each deity, and it will be different from the relationship others may have with them. So I said I used to worship her only, and now I work with her. You might be wondering what the difference is. To me, the difference is simply that worshipping doesn't involve, it does only involve you. You make offerings to a deity, you look up to them, but you don't ask anything from them, you just give. Whereas working with them is more of a give and take relationship. You give someone and no, you don't give someone. You give something and in exchange you expect something in return. I'm gonna continue the table. So usually my bread turns out pink. But again, as I said, this pomegranate didn't have much juice, so I guess it won't. But it's starting to look pretty good. You know, it seems homogeneous and kind of stretchy or elastic. Yeah, it's starting to give a bit of juice. So I'm gonna let this sit in the oven. I'm not gonna bake it yet, I'm just gonna let it sit at like 30 degrees Celsius to make it warm and rise faster. You don't have to, but I usually do it because it's faster. And nobody got time for that, you know? Okay, be right back. Okay, so our bread rose up, and now we're gonna work it out just a little bit. We're gonna knead it to get the gas out, and then it'll be ready to be baked. As simple as that. A little bit of flour. Ooh. Yep, it's more than ready to be baked. And I have a feeling this is gonna be a good one, even though it's not pink. You know, it's kind of sad, like, usually when I make pomegranate bread, it's like really bright pink. I mean, maybe not bright pink, but you can see that it's not a normal bread, a regular bread. And this time we can't. The only thing that makes it different is the seeds popping out, which I guess is a bread of simplicity. I'm gonna roll it a bit. Today I'm not gonna use a mold because I can't find it. I'm gonna simply use the grill with a baking sheet on it. So really I could make my bread any shape I want. Just gonna make it like a long boy. So to do that I just roll it. I could make a baguette. Anyways. I think that's about right. It's like half a baguette. So let's set it aside. Take the green. I think it might be too big. Oh, I can make it mini. There we go. Will it look like anything? I have no idea. Could make a circle. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna keep working it out a bit. Because like, I'm gonna make it a circle to make it look like a pomegranate. I know that's dumb, but you know. Why not have fun while you're making food, right? Okay. Up. There we go. A circle. So I'm gonna wait until my oven is at temperature, which is 180 degrees Celsius. Bake this bad boy for 30 to 40 minutes and I'll come back. Here it is, just out of the oven, crusty, and well, it's baked. You can do this with absolutely anything, as long as you make sure to adapt your levels of water and of flour according to the ingredients you add. Like for example, if you add rosemary, like just plain old rosemary, like I did in my previous video, you don't need to adjust anything. But if you use pomegranate seeds or lemon juice or absolutely anything that you want to add, you need to make sure that you add the amount of water that is missing. So like if you add 10 centiliters of lemon juice, for example, or no, any juice, we need to add 20 centiliters of water. And of course, as you work it, you'll see how it reacts. You'll see if it has too much or not enough waters, too much or not enough flour. And you know, it's simple. Too much water, add flour. Not enough water, add water. Just work in small quantities, add little by little, and you should be mostly fine. If you want to try, let me know in the comments. Let me know how it went. If you had any issues, I'd be more than happy to help you try and understand and solve them. To make our pomegranate honey, we're gonna need honey. This is just a blend flower honey, not like fancy rose or lavender or lime honey. It's just a mix, a bunch of flowers. And yes, I did go to the shop or the store, buy some honey just for this video because I didn't have any more and I wanted to make my pomegranate honey. So I'm gonna pour it all in. Can I use this something to scrape off the excess. Get it all in there. In this little container here, I have 500 grams of honey. Okay, set it aside, we don't need it anymore. So our honey for now is pretty thick. It should be less thick once we're done because of the moisture we're gonna add. So now I'm gonna add, well, this is a whole pomegranate. For now I'll probably just add half of it. Or just add it all. Yep. I mean, why not? Gonna mix it quickly like that. I hope you can see something. That seems okay. Yeah, no, it's pretty dark. I'm gonna turn up the light. You should see better like that. So, since this pomegranate is pretty old, I'm gonna add a little bit of water. Usually you wanna add between maybe an eighth and a sixth of water than you have of honey. Because as we're gonna heat it up, which I'm gonna do right now, the water will prevent the honey from caramelizing, and it will prevent it from, thickening and all that, being hard. It will make it stay honey-like. I add a lot of seeds. That's good. I mean, a lot of pomegranates, and I hope it will turn out good, actually. I made a lilac honey, which was, damn, really good, and really potent too. But it's almost done, and my lilac tree is done flowering by now, so this will work. Okay. Stop stirring for a bit. Maybe I should add a little bit more water. Yeah, I should do that. The way I'm gonna use this honey is just, the way you could use just regular honey. But since this one features pomegranates, and since, I'm a kitchen witch, I never do anything without intent in the kitchen, I'm gonna use it mostly for my morning tea to, bond with Persephone, and to, well, yeah, just for that purpose, I guess, because it's good. And there are a lot of things that I do and that I love that are associated with Persephone, and a lot of the times I just use them because they make me think of her. Like, for example, when I see daisies outside, I could take it as a sign that she's here, and sometimes according to the situation I do, but it's just mostly a thing that makes me think of her. Like pomegranates. Like, I think pomegranates are the biggest association with her. It's just her thing. Okay, now we're gonna bring that to a bowl. Just a light bowl. Because again, we don't want it to burn or caramelize. We just want it to steep, I think that's a word, to take in the pomegranate taste and properties, and to expel a bit of the moisture. So yep, I guess I'll get you back when it's done or when it's boiling. Alright, so it's starting to get hot. I don't know if you can see, but it's making steam. I'm keeping it on low to medium heat because I don't want to overheat it. As you can see, it's pretty liquidy. I'm gonna continue a bit like that until it starts boiling. Once it's boiled, I'm gonna turn it off and I let it sit and cool down a bit. We want to stir it regularly so it doesn't, stick to the bottom and burn. But other than that, there isn't much to do. I don't know if you can see, but it changed color a bit. Like it's a bit brown now, or brownish, browner. I don't know, but it changed color. So that's probably because of the pomegranate, which is a good sign. It's a very good sign because it means that the pomegranate and the honey are, working together. Okay, so as you can see, it's starting to boil. So now I'm gonna turn it off, keep stirring, and I'm gonna set it aside for now and let it cool. And once it's cooled down, I'll pour it in containers, jars. Okay, so our honey is kind of cooled down. It's not totally cold or at room temperature, but it's better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour it slowly. It should still be pretty liquidy because it's hot. Don't know if you saw that, but you'll see as I pour. Okay, we'll fill it almost entirely to the top. So it should be it should still be warm, but it shouldn't be too hot. Like you should be able to touch the jar without burning yourself. And I know that right now it looks very, very, very liquid. But trust me, it won't stay like that. And to help it re-thicken, we're gonna place it in the fridge. Yeah. I was just checking they weren't too hot, because if they were, they would have, exploded in the fridge. But they're good, so I'll get it there. And now all we have to do is the dishes and wait until we can enjoy it. Okay, well, we're done for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspired you. If you have any more recipes using pomegranates, I'll be more than happy to check them out. I plan on making a pomegranate mojito soon. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave comments if you want to. I love reading them. Leave a like if you liked it, and if you want to leave a like, subscribe if you want. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time.